Okay. Nice low seat here. You kind of just like sink into these seats. Usually I sit on the hard chair for that reason, but whatever. So yeah, it's been a few days since the last video was up. I believe the last session I recorded was Saturday, and it's currently Wednesday the next week. So I did train Monday, Tuesday, but I was working with a videographer both days, so he was recording me and I didn't want to get in the way, so I didn't bring my camera with me or anything like that. So that's the reason why those two sessions are kind of skipped and they weren't recorded. So fast forward from my last leg day to the first leg day of this week, which is about to go down. Yeah, just basically preparing for that. It's nearly 2 p.m, so earlier session for me at least, earlier than what I'm used to doing. And I decided to just get some intra-workout carbs because since my calories got bumped up recently, it's been really hard to kind of eat all my food on I suppose, a bit of a schedule. And just to make that job a little bit easier and so I don't kind of get to 7 p.m. at night and still have 2,000 calories to go, I've decided to just introduce some intra-workout carbs. So what's this? 2.5 serves of 12 grams of carbs per bottle. So you're looking at, shit, my math is terrible right now. I'm gonna have to get my calculator out. This is shocking. I'm that brain dead right now. 12. 30. I don't know why I couldn't do that in my head. So 30 grams of carbs for each bottle. So 60 grams of carbs for my intra. I had a pre-workout meal and also just have an energy drink. But because I had quite a lot of protein in my pre-workout meal and because I'm out of EAAs, I'm not really stressing about not having EAAs. But if I wasn't out, I'd also have some EAAs. What I am doing actually is I've got a friend who lives about 2-3 hours south from where I am, and he's basically bought some carb powder from his gym because they sell a carb powder that I really like there called Carb X. It's just a highly branched cyclic dextrin. And so when I catch up with him next, I'll pay him for that and grab that, and I'll start having that with the EAAs and some water. But until that kind of happens, I'll just make do with some Gatorades because at the end of the day, dextrose is just as good. And I'm pretty sure that's what they use in the Gatorade here, dextrose. So yeah, that, a little bit of electrolytes, some caffeine, some B vitamins, and pretty much good to go. So yeah, leg session today, it's not the vertical leg press, it's the more quad dominant leg day. So I've got, let's just pull it up. Calves, seated hamstring curl, GHR, hack squat, leg extension, and adductors. So that's what we're going down today. Should be a good session. Legs just feeling a little bit sore still, but scale of 1 to 5, I'd say like a 1 to 2 out of 5, 5 being bad. So still plenty of kind of room from getting to a point where the fatigue's too high that it'd be detrimental to the session. So should be a good training session. Should be able to hit a PB here or there. So that's the goal. I want to try and aim for a 1 rep PB on hacks, which is going to be a challenge, but I think I can do it. And I've got my my new compression tights on too. Got these for $35 on Amazon. Just some Under Armour compression tights. I think I went a size too big though. I think it was like the 3XL. I should have gone one size down. I just know I got XL over here and it was too tight, way too tight. And I thought, I'll go 2 sizes up. That'll be safe. These fit, but they're just a bit baggy or a bit loose. So hopefully when they go through the wash, I might throw them in the dryer once just to shrink them a little bit. They should be good from that point on. But yeah, I'll drink this and I'll see you guys in there. So to speed them up today, and what I'll be doing moving forward, I can't recall if I did do this in the first leg session from last week's training, but I'm basically just going to do all my calf work in a rest pause fashion from now on, just to basically reduce the time it takes because I am hitting calves 3 to 4 times a week. I don't necessarily need to worry about doing straight sets, even though might potentially be a little bit more beneficial or more effective to do some straight sets, but due to the frequency and just the sheer amount of work I'm doing for calves, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to do the rest pause method with these. So I've got 5 sets, but I'm just going to do 5 clusters, basically spread apart by 15-second or not 15-second rest periods, 15 breath rest periods between each kind of cluster. So I'll do like a set to pretty much mechanical failure, rest for 15 deep breaths, and then I'll go again, rinse and repeat basically until I get all 5 clusters. And because it's a lower rep range today, going heavier. Already warmed up from walking, so I don't really need to do a warm-up set in my opinion. Don't know if I'll record all of these, but see how we go. Might stop it after like cluster 3, because you kind of get the idea after that point. Oh, God. That was more like it. That was closer to the rep range I meant to be working in. I mean, it doesn't matter if you overshoot your rep range at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't mean or warrant that the set is no longer effective. For the set to be effective, you just need to get close to failure. Close enough to failure or to failure, and that'll tick the boxes. But I was able to reach failure and get close to failure in less reps that time, which is good, because that's what I was initially aiming for, like 8 to 12 reps for each cluster. So yeah, I might as well fill the last 2 clusters. You can always just cut them out if it looks like the clip's dragging out too long when I'm editing it. Not that I really do much editing, but just record the clusters so far. Okay, 2 more. And it's the seated hamstring curl. There's actually another seated hamstring curl, the one that I normally use as a second one as well. I've never really given it a decent try, so I might actually try that today, see how it feels. So it might feel better than the one I normally use, which will be a I'll win if that's the case. All right, that's enough rest. One cluster to go. So 9 on that one. So I'm starting to lose reps now. I mean, I lost a lot after that first cluster, 14 down to 10. So able to maintain that for 2 clusters. 9 on that 4th one. So I probably, if I'm being realistic, hit 8 to 9 on this final 5th cluster, I think. Then it'll be onto the hamstrings. But yeah, like I said, I might try the different hamstring machine that I don't normally use, the different set of hamstring curl. It's just really weird. You'll see what I mean. It's got like a awkward kind of design where you've got these like, I don't know, the pads just confuse the hell out of me. I just look at it and I think, is that just built that way to be more difficult than it needs to be, or is it built that way because it's more effective at targeting the hamstrings? I don't really know. So I'll try it out and I'll see. One can only try. Yeah, I definitely wasn't getting a 10th rep, so that's it. So I remember specifically last week, my form was shit on these. Like it was fucking bad. I did increase it by 10 pound, but I just, in my opinion, I completely threw my form out the window. So I'm not gonna hit, I don't think, anywhere near the reps I got last week at this weight, but I'm gonna just try and get within a close enough proximity of failure with better technique. And wherever the reps fall, that's where they fall, and that'll be my new benchmark. So I'm basically like resetting this movement, so to speak. So I think it's easy to get a little bit caught up, especially as you get on in a training block, a mesocycle, where you're just kind of like, not going through the motions, but you get a little bit less vigilant, you're not as strict with your execution, and then you can almost falsely mislead yourself to thinking that you're progressively overloading when you're actually just letting your form go to shit. And that your progression is actually not really going anywhere. So I'm going to try to standardize the reps a little bit more, basically. And go from there. So I thought somebody was just waving at me then, out of the corner of my eye. It wasn't though. I thought I had friends for a minute, but I don't. So I was able to actually match what I got in the first set from last week. That's pretty good. Didn't expect that. I'll have to watch the video back, see how my form was, but I'll aim to get close to that again on the next set. But 2 sets to go. No volume escalation this week. Okay, so the technique actually wasn't too bad. Hey bro, how are you? Yeah, good. Yourself? Yeah? Yeah. You're working? Sorry? Leg day? Yeah, leg day, yeah. Start with hamstrings. Hamstrings and quads. Yeah. Okay, second set. Even though the velocity on that last rep didn't really slow down that much, I can tell you that was pretty much failure. I incorporated a little bit more body language. You probably wouldn't have been able to tell unless if you have like a close eye for it, but I let my technique get a little bit sloppy on that last rep, and that allowed me to kind of keep up that same velocity that I had on the previous rep. If I had kept my form strict though, the velocity would have been a lot slower and I would have struggled to lock that rep out, I think. Now I could preempt that or anticipate that was going to be the case, so I just thought, instead of trying for an next rep, an 11th rep, I'll just call it at 10. So yeah, one more set. Ooh, calf cramp. Still haven't had any intra-workout carbs yet. I don't really think I kind of deserve any, or I'm not really entitled to any until I get at least through one real exercise for the session. I don't consider carbs a real exercise. So once I get through this, I'll start sipping on my intra carbs, my Gatorade. So I got glute extensions on the GHR, or GHD I should say. Glute extensions on the GHD after this, and then it's on to the quad work of the session and finish off with the adductors. So yeah, I'll start sipping the intra when I get to the GHD. One more of these. Goal for this set isn't to match the reps that I got on that last set, but rather to just standardize the technique and not let it get sloppy in that final rep. So I can really kind of see where my current, I suppose, rep max lies with this weight. Might point my toes forward a bit too, just to disengage the calves, because they were cramping up a little bit before, just from overstretching them under load, because I had my toes pulled back toward me like that before. If I can like let them sit forward and relax the calves a bit, should help to kind of like, not disengage, but just recruit the calves to a lesser degree. Make it more hamstring dominant. So with no body language, it's about 8 to 9 reps at this weight, so it's kind of what I thought. Fingers crossed this is set to the settings I like it at. No, it definitely isn't. I'll have to adjust it before I start. Way too far back. There we go. Yeah, it's too far back, it's too hamstring dominant. And I want to hit my glutes a little bit more, so a bit further forward so I can have that slight bend in the knees. And yeah, no volume increase, still 4 working sets of this. We got like 10 reps on the first 3 and 9 on the 4th, I think, last week. So this, yeah, I just aim to match it basically. I don't think I hit a PB, but I'll try. I sound very pessimistic when I say I probably won't hit a PB, but I'm just being realistic with myself. I find this hard to progress when I do it correctly. Yeah, camera is overheating, so it might shut off mid-set. Just thought to myself too, shout out to Cold Sun. I think that was a YouTube username, Cold Sun. Yeah. He said, he called me out for skipping leg day because I uploaded like the first leg day in ages the other week. But I guess this is proof that I don't skip leg day. 2 leg day videos in a row, even though they're separated by like 3-4 days. Oh, shit. Yeah, 1 rep PB. Got 10, 10, 10, 9 last week. I just got 4 sets to 10. I'm happy with that. That's a win. That's on to the hardest exercise of the session, hack squats, and then it's just all downhill from there, easier from there, with leg extensions and adductors. When I say easier, I don't mean I mean relatively, like they're easier. Easier relative to a hack squat because it's more technical, it's more of a multi-joint movement, and it causes more systemic fatigue than a leg extension or an adductor machine per rep. Yeah. Right. A bit of a break and then on to hacks. Alright. Time to crack into the intra workout carbs. It's been a minute since I had a blue Gatorade. I don't remember what they taste like. I think it's called like Blue Bolt, the flavour, but whatever the fuck that means. Blue raspberry or blueberry or I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is. Tastes good. That's all that matters. Bit of a pro tip too. If you're drinking intra-workout carbs, don't scull or guzzle it. Just sip it. Otherwise you'll get this like big pool of water in your stomach just sloshing around. If you're doing something like hack squats, it'll be very, very fucking unpleasant. It'll be a real bad time. So, got 15, 15, 12 last week with 2 plates aside, so I'll aim for 15, 15, 13. Just get a good song because this will be fucking hard. Might not look like a lot of weight, but when you actually do hack squats properly, you don't need a lot of weight. Especially if it's on a well-built hack squat like this, where the sled's a little bit steeper and the force curve dictates it gets heavier at the bottom. Like with this, it's real heavy out of the hole. So what you think you can do is usually a little bit off. Like your perception is usually a little bit skewed from what is reality. So get some tool playing for your inoculum. Nice, slow, long soundtrack. That set absolutely killed me. The knees are feeling a lot better though, I'll tell you that. The knees have been feeling a lot better the last few weeks, so that's always a positive. Record that before I forget it. So 2 more sets. Just have a bit more Gatorade before I go on the next one. Find a bit of a heavier song. It's one thing you can do if you know you get additional training arousal out of heavy music when you're doing your session. If you know there's a exercise coming up in that training session that you need that extra little bit of a push, you can always flick the switch, turn things up a notch by putting on a heavier soundtrack or heavier song, and that can just kind of potentiate more output on that set, on that exercise, and then you can always just scale it back after that to kind of not accumulate too much systemic fatigue too quickly, but at the same time still exploit or take advantage of the increased training arousal from heavier music. Me personally, I'm one of those people, if I use heavier music, I get a lot of training arousal out of it. So I mean, I can really kind of push things, so I try use it sparingly because I know for every high there's a low, and the higher you go, the lower you fall. So if you get more training arousal, you're gonna get more fatigue than somebody who gets less training arousal from it. And in that instance, you need to be more conservative with your budgeting when it comes to using that. All right. Bit of kill switch engage. It looks a little bit sub-max, but keep in mind I've got 1 more set to go, and that's the one where I failed at 12 last week, so I don't want to shoot my load too early, so to speak. That's one thing you'll learn to do as you become a more experienced lifter, is learning to appropriately and intelligently allocate and budget your energy throughout your training session. Because when you're new, inexperienced, say in the first 3 years of your lifting, it's very easy to kind of shoot your load too soon, expend all of your energy on the first 1 to 2 working sets, and then you've got nothing left for the 3rd and final set or the 4th set, or even the 5th set if you've got 5. So learning to strategically budget and allocate your effort wisely throughout the session is a skill that you acquire over time. And that's ultimately what leads to becoming a more experienced lifter over time. Having that foresight and being able to do that rather than just basically expending all your effort on the first set and looking back in hindsight and thinking, oh shit. Okay, final set. Okay. some good music. Oh shit, that's a terrible song. Some effects. Fuck. 1 rep PB. Fuck yeah. Extensions and adductors and I'm done. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm about to do the second set of my leg extensions, and I wanted to touch on intra-workout nutrition a little bit quickly because I've just finished my first 30 grams of carbohydrates mid-training session, and I'm not going to have any more. And the reason is there's this misconception that weight training is heavily energy expensive, or that you deplete your glycogen stores to quite a large degree when you're doing weight training, which just simply isn't the case. Sure, might be a little bit more glycolytic in nature in terms of when you get into those higher heart rates in your training session, but the reality of it is it's not that energy expensive. It's more so the recovery process that's energy expensive. So post-training when you're at home and whatnot. So the liquid calories in a surplus or in a growing phase, in my opinion, are more so a way of getting in your calories easier throughout the day. So you have less of a gastric burden. And then when you're in a deficit, it's more so to help fuel performance because you're in an energy deficit then and your glycogen stores aren't always fully replenished. But when you're in a surplus, your glycogen stores are fully replenished almost all the time around the clock. So there's no reason or need to drink sugar and carbohydrates mid-session to replenish your glycogen stores when you're in a surplus, when you're bulking or in your off-season. When you're in a deficit though, there is reason for that, but in the off-season it's more so for a recovery measure. So you're consuming easy to eat or drink calories in the form of carbohydrates to fuel and support that recovery process. Food for thought. Third and final set of these. Then adductors, which I believe I skipped last week. I won't do that this week.